Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to help me. When the skies of Konoha began to crack like a shattered mirror, I realized that this was not an ordinary attack. It was the beginning of an invasion that would forever change the shinobi world. The Shinjus had returned and each one had a defined target. While Jura headed toward Himawari and Mamushi advanced against Ada, Hidari, the distorted copy of Sasuke Uchiha, appeared before Sarada with a blank, cold gaze, yet carrying something familiar, the shadow of the man she admired most. The ground around them deformed, and before any reinforcements could approach, Hidari raised his left hand, and the Rinnegan shone in an intense purple hue. In an instant, the space was distorted, and the reality around them shattered into fragments. Sarada felt the wind change, the sky darken, and when she opened her eyes again, she was in another dimension, a scarlet void, where the ground seemed liquid and the air vibrated with pure energy. It was a perfect trap. Hidari did not want witnesses. He wanted a direct fight like Sasuke would have done. I felt at that moment that Sarada's fate would not be decided solely by strength, but by her soul. Hidari took the first step, and the sound echoed like thunder. His Sharingan spun, reflecting the glow of black lightning that coiled around his fingers. Sarada, calm, took a deep breath. The wind moved her hair and her eyes shone crimson, the Mangekyou Sharingan. The first strike was silent. No abrupt movements, only stares. They both knew what they were about to do. They plunged into a genjutsu, and then the world dissolved again. Sarada opened her eyes and saw herself in a field of red flowers. Hidari was there too, standing, gaze fixed. An illusion within an illusion. Time distorted, and each tried to penetrate the mind of the other. Scenes of pain, memories, illusions of defeat and victory overlapped. It was a mental duel, a war of perceptions. She saw images of her father, of Sakura, of Boruto. She saw Hidari's face turn into Sasuke's, and for a moment hesitated. That momentary weakness almost cost her consciousness, but Sarada remembered who she was. She shouted within herself, and the genjutsu shattered like glass. When she returned, Hidari was already moving. Black flames of Amaterasu appeared around her. Sarada leapt, spinning in the air, forming seals with perfect precision. Kaden, Gokakyu no Jutsu! A gigantic sphere of fire was launched against the black flames. The impact exploded like a sun, illuminating the scarlet dimension. The flames danced, but neither was enough to stop the other. It was as if the fire refused to die. Hidari smiled. You fight like him, Sarada responded, breathless, and I will surpass him. Then the real battle began. Hidari drew a purple chakra sword, similar to Kusanagi, and ran at absurd speed. Sarada activated the Chidori. The sound of 1,000 birds echoed, slicing the air. When they collided, the impact made the ground tremble, and sparks cut across the horizon. The electric shock created an instant storm. With every strike, Sarada felt the weight of the Uchiha blood. She was fighting against a reflection of her own father, the same movements, the same precision, the same eyes. But there was something different. Hidari fought without hesitation, without emotion. She attempted a fast taijutsu strike, but Hidari dodged, using the Rinnegan to repel her attack. Shinra Tensei! The push launched her dozens of meters away. Sarada fell, sliding over the liquid-like ground, opening grooves of pure energy. Even so, she rose. I'm not done yet. The air trembled as she concentrated chakra in her left eye. The Mangekyou shone brighter and her chakra rose terrifyingly. I understand now. This is the pain that Dad carried. She advanced, but Hidari, impassive, raised his hands. And then the sky opened with swords. Hidari's SUSANO'O took form. Massive, purple, surrounded by lightning. His eyes glowed with the same dark hue as the Sasuke of old. Sarada tried to resist, throwing kunai with explosive seals, bursts of fire and lightning, but the SUSANO'O easily deflected everything. Each strike made the ground tremble. The spiritual giant brandished its blade, cutting the air with devastating power. She was running out of chakra. Her body trembled. Sweat dripped from her forehead. With every breath, she felt closer to her limit, and then the inevitable happened, a direct strike. The Susanoo smashed the ground, and Sarada was thrown against a wall of energy, falling to her knees. Her Sharingan flickered. Her chakra was depleting. Hidari approached slowly. You are strong, but you still carry hesitation. Sarada, breathless, whispered, You never understood what it is to fight for someone. And at that moment when her body almost gave in, something shone on her forehead. A seal. The same seal that once adorned Sakura Haruno. The Byakugu. The energy flowed like a torrent. The veins of the seal expanded. Chakra multiplied absurdly. The color of the air changed. Sarada lifted her head and her eyes, now a fusion of red and blue, shimmered with a new power. She rose. Every step she took made the ground crack. The Byakugu's energy healed her wounds instantly. Now I understand what it is to be the daughter of two legendary warriors. With a scream, Sarada raised her hands to the sky. Her chakra expanded violently, and a colossal aura began to form behind her. A gigantic crimson specter, covered with patterns of fire and lightning. Her own SUSANO'O. But there was something different. Her SUSANO'O pulsed with the same pattern of the Mangekyou. The chakra wings burned like embers, and the blade emanated living, almost divine energy. Hidari's eyes widened. Impossible. Sarada advanced. The ground exploded beneath her feet. Hidari's SUSANO'O raised its sword, but her strike was faster, fiercer. When the blades collided, the sound echoed like the roar of 1,000 thunderstorms. The dimensional structures began to crack. Space itself yielded under the pressure of the two SUSANO'O. Hidari tried to resist, but Sarada's chakra was something beyond human. It was the fusion of love, pain, and the will to protect. She shouted, "This is the power my heart gave me." The final strike pierced the enemy SUSANO'O, breaking every layer of chakra until it struck Hidari directly. The ensuing explosion was silent, but the impact destroyed everything around. When the light faded, Sarada was kneeling, breathless, her SUSANO'O slowly dissipating. Hidari was before her, kneeling, gaze empty. Gradually, his body began to disintegrate into luminous fragments. "You inherited the true power of the Uchihas," were his last words before his body transformed into a spiny mass of energy, returning to being just a lost soul in the cycle of the Shinju. Sarada, exhausted, fell to her knees. The Byakugu seal still shone on her forehead, and a tear ran down her face. "Father, Mother, I did it." The sky of the dimension opened, and she looked upward, seeing the fragments of battle dissipate like ashes. But then, something changed. She felt a presence, distant, powerful, bestial. It was another battlefield, another dimension. And on the spiritual horizon, the roar of a legendary beast echoed. I knew at that moment that the next fight was already underway. Himawari. And Jura. And what was about to happen would surpass everything we had ever seen before, because the power of an Uzumaki united with Kurama and the Tensugen would be the awakening of a new era. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to help me.